All right, guys, we are back. Market research. Very first topic is figuring out your competitors and your influencers. We've gone through, we've established what our niche is going to be. We've figured out what our username is going to be. We know whether our account is going to be a personal brand or a brand page. And now we need to determine, okay, who are we up against? What are we modeling? What do we need to do? What do we need to stay away from? Who are our competitors? Who are our influencers? And the difference between those two. So, first things first, what's the difference between a competitor and an influencer?
Well, a competitor is someone or an account who is closer to you in terms of following number and engagement. So let's say you have a 10,000 follower account. Your competitor is someone going to be between 10,000 and 25,000 or 20,000. That's going to be your competitors. Now, those are competitors. Influencers are the top dogs in your industry or in your niche. So for example, you're 10,000 followers, and let's say somebody is at 100,000 followers. That's not really a competitor. That's more of an influencer.
Right.
People that 100,000, 1 million, 2 million, etc. Those are more influencers because honestly, you cannot compete at their level right now. But that is exactly the point, because you're trying to model their success in order to get to their level and compete against them. So that is the importance of this lesson right now. You're seeing who you're competing against right now, and then seeing who you're going to compete against later down in the near future.
That's right. That's right. You have to know the difference between that, because you have to determine who you're up against, that you're competing with, and who you're going to collaborate with, and who you're going to work with.
Yeah.
And then you also have to establish, okay, who your goal is, who you're trying to reach out to. So if you're in the motivation, niche, your influencer obviously is going to be Jason Stone or Millionaire Mentor, right? 2 million followers on that page. If you're in the magazine, entrepreneurial business style, Founder Magazine, right? I mean, 900,000, I believe, almost 1 million followers there. Or if you're in the personal brand niche, obviously it depends upon what your personal thing is, but your Richard Bransons and Gary V's of the world, right? You're competing with that. So you really need to know those pages. Now, if you're only at 10,000 followers, or maybe you're only at 1,000 followers or 5,000 followers, you're not worried about them. You want to look at their pages and you want to figure out what they're doing while still being very unique to yourself. So we're going to switch over. We're going to show you the screen. We're going to share our screen with you guys now so that we can dive in. We're going to be working off of Mr. High Class. We think this is a pretty good account to do. It's at 100,000 followers right now. So it's small enough to still be considered a smaller account, in the sense it's not 1 million, but it's still large enough to distinguish itself from, say, a 10,000 follower account. It's kind of right in the middle, and it really allows you to see, okay, this is, you're able to accomplish this, what you're able to do once you're at that 100,000 mark. One more quick note on this. We were able to grow. I grew this account personally from 0 to 100,000 followers. 7 months, 11 days is what it ended up being from the time I got it to the time that. So we're going to dive into the screen, and we're going to kind of show you what we do to look for influencers. All right? So with no further ado, here we go. All right. So now you can see we're here. We have Mr. High Class. We have 100,000 followers. As you can see, it's clearly labeled. It's an entrepreneurial, complete luxury, brands, lifestyle, luxury fashion, Mr. High Class, quality content, very quality content. And if you scroll through here, you can see money and luxury, fashion, suits and ties, money, sports cars, things like that. And you can see very, very clearly what I'm trying to do with this page, where we're trying to grow, and what we're trying to do. So by now, if you have 100,000 followers, or even if you have 5 followers, 10 followers, you're probably going to know at least one person that you're going to compete with. All right? So for us, I'm going to go and I'm going to know, okay, right off the bat, who kind of am I competing with? We're going to go luxury spotlight. So we're going to go to our search bar here and type in luxury spotlight. 202,000 followers. Not the same page, but very similar to what I'm doing. Money, sports cars, you can see luxury, high quality content, sharp images. So the first thing we're going to do is write down on a spreadsheet the name of this account, Luxury Spotlight. The second thing we're going to write down is the niche that they're in. So most of the competitors and influencers that you're going to be researching are in your exact niche. However, every now and then there's a crossover niche, or there's a slight differentiator. For example, in Mr. High Class, I have both fashion and luxury. So a competitor of mine might be a fashion page that is just focused on fashion without any sports cars. They might still be a competitor of mine. So you want to clearly differentiate, what niche they're in. So, for example, this one, Luxury Spotlight, we're going to write down there in the luxury niche. All right, that's basically what they are. They have cars, they have money. This is a luxury lifestyle niche. So they're in the luxury niche. The second thing we're going to write down is the third thing rather, first name, then their niche. The third thing is their size. You're going to write down what size they are. So if you look up here, they're at 202,000 followers. All right, the fourth thing you're going to write down is the link in their bio. Do they have a link in their bio? Yes or no? You don't need to know what the link is. You don't even need to click on it. You just want to write down whether or not they have a link in their bio.
Why is that?
Because what we're doing here is we're creating a spreadsheet, which we're going to show you, by the way, very shortly, what that spreadsheet looks like. But you're wanting to collect data. You're wanting to see who uses links in bio, how many people these people have, what their average likes and engagement is, which we're going to get to in just a second. Collecting all this data so that you, once you have this spreadsheet, can look back at it and see what works, what doesn't, who's using them, who's not, and that was going to help you determine the best way to be able to go about it. Basically, you are doing data research, market research right now with everything of what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so first thing is the name. Second thing is the niche. Third thing is the size. Fourth thing is whether or not they have a link in the bio. The fifth thing is their average likes, and six would be average comments. So we're going to look at the likes and comments on this page. If we go through their pictures, we can see, don't look at their last image because that's not very, very accurate. Scroll down a few. But you can see 2,600 likes, about 13 comments. 7,000, almost 8,000 likes, 32 comments. 4,000, 15 comments. 8,000, 5,000, 3,000. So we can see that their average likes is roughly 3,000 to 5,000 likes on this particular page, right? So we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. We're going to say that their average likes is 5,000 and that their average comments are 30. We'll be generous, say 30 likes or 30 comments, and we're going to write that down. First, the average amount of likes, then the next column over, the average amount of comments. So that way you know, okay, we know what their niche is, we know who they are, we know their size, we know their average likes, and we know what their average comments. The next and final question we're going to ask is whether or not we think they're in engagement groups. And I say we think because there's really no way to 100% guarantee that they're in an engagement group or not. But we're about to teach you how you can determine whether or not someone is in an engagement group.
Yeah. And the concept of engagement groups we're going to dive into a little bit later, but right now we want to see whether they're taking advantage of this or not.
Right. So we're going to choose this photo, has 8,000 or 7,900 likes and 32 comments. And we're going to click on the view comment page. Now, you can see there's 32 comments on here. We'll go up to the top. A lot of the first comment, sweet, love these all, cool, diamond, this is cool. Anything that doesn't have a tag, like tagging someone specifically in it. Cool post, definitely appreciate your posts, things like that. You are looking for comments that look generic, look not unique to that post. And then say we're going to pick this Gahent watch. We're going to click on it. It has 3,400 followers. It is not someone's personal page of like 200 or 300 followers. This basic page, 50,000 followers. Going down here, love luxury watches, 81,000 followers. What this is telling me is these are not pages that are just going to randomly comment on your page. Yeah. If I have 100,000 followers or 80,000, 50,000 followers on a page, on an account, more than likely I'm not just going and leaving random comments on somebody else's posts. on somebody else's pages. Because unless it's going to help me grow or unless I know them, it really doesn't allow me any benefit. And it's a waste of time when you could be using that time elsewhere. So we can tell that more than likely he's in engagement groups. And how that works is when I have 50 or 100,000 followers, in this case this guy has 200,000, he's going to have collaborated with several other accounts between 50, 100, 200, 300,000 followers, and they're going to create an engagement group, which we're going to go into later, but they're basically sending pictures to each other and they're all going and commenting on it. You can tell that these are basic comments, these are generic comments, and that they're helping each other out here. Now, a lot of these comments are pretty, they're pretty probably original. Like this lady right here, clearly she's not in an engagement group. She just, left a comment on this post. Anything with question marks or, how are you doing, poor punctuation, those are probably very real comments. But you can see some of these are definitely engagement group comments. We're going to go to another one here, this BMW, 24 comments. You can see, go up. Wow, that's amazing. Traveling on our world. 160,000, definitely an engagement group. Once again, love luxuries, same one, definitely an engagement group. So cool, Dan Church, or D&D Church, 58.9, definitely an engagement group. So you can now tell that this account is using engagement groups. This is not a bad thing. In fact, it's very much encouraged if you want growth. Once again, we'll dive into that in a later lesson. But we want to write down whether or not we think this account is in an engagement group because it's another form of data and it's really going to help us analyze what's working and what's not. Okay? So, once again, Luxury Spotlights is the name, or not Luxury Spotlight is the name. Their niche is luxury. Their size is about 202,000. They have a link in their bio. They're getting about 5,000 likes, about 30 comments, and their engagement groups are some. I mean, they have some groups, and they're not heavy on it, but they definitely have some. Okay?
Yeah, and this exact process that we did for this just one account, you want to do it again,
and again,
and again, and again,
and again. And again.
And more and more
and again and again and again. We generally say between 50 and 100 accounts is what you're doing.
So you're looking for direct competitors and also indirect competitors, meaning in your case, people who are just fashion or people who are just money. In your case, you have both money and fashion. So indirect competitors and direct competitors, you want to go to the entire process of this exact thing that we just did right now for each and every single account.
Right. Every single one of them that you're going to be doing, whether that's 20, 50, 100, the more the better because the more data you're going to be able to have.
Yeah.
Now, you're probably going, all right, well, that's great. We found one account, Luxury Spotlight. How do I find, other accounts in my niche? How do I figure out, what else is out there? Because obviously you're just not going to be able to guess all of their names. Mm-hmm. If you look up here or in the top, you see I'm following Luxury Spotlight. It says following. There's a check mark there. On the right-hand side, there is an arrow. And if you click that arrow down, it is going to bring up what's called suggested accounts. And so you actually can scroll through. Now, if I wasn't following other pages, it would show up the most relevant pages. It's not going to suggest any page I'm already following. So these aren't going to be the most relevant pages, but they're going to be relevant, the most relevant right now based on who I'm following. So you'd be able to click on this and go, look at this, 169,000. Probably one I'm going to want to write down, Millionaire's Luxury Lifestyle. So you could do that and then go back and scroll over. Dollars.co, all money page, definitely related to what I'm doing. There's a lot of money on Mr. High Class, so want to follow that page and check them out. Bills Lux, Billionaire Luxury. You can see that there's a lot of different pages, and this is a phenomenal way, the best way, to figure out competitors and influencers in your niche. One thing that we tell a lot of the people that we work with is when you're making out the spreadsheet, which once again we'll get to in a second, you don't have to, but you can write down whether or not you believe that they're an influencer or a competitor as well. You can add a separate column. Most of the time you can just tell based on their following. I mean, 1 million followers is an influencer, 20,000 is a competitor if that's your size. But some people actually like to write that down on the spreadsheet as well. Totally optional. It doesn't really help with the data purposes, which we'll be diving into, but it does really help you, if you're a beginner at this, determine right away, oh yeah, that they're more of an influencer, or yeah, they're more of a competitor. So make sure that you're writing these things down, that you're keeping the spreadsheet. I'm going to do one more just so you guys can kind of get the hang of it once again. And we're going to switch over. We're going to do someone that's smaller than me. So say you're like a 20,000 follower account, right? We're going to go to the Billionaires blog. Billionaires blog. 31.6 thousand. Okay? I'm bigger than them. For my purposes, I'm probably not going to spreadsheet it, but I want to show you another example of a smaller account. 31.6 thousand. He does not have a link in the bio. So we would write no link in bio. Additionally, he is not a business account. And that's another one you can add to your spreadsheet. It is whether or not they're a business account or not. But you can see in his bio, his contact information. Remember, we talked about this at the beginning.
Yep.
If you're not a business account, you want people to be able to contact you via email, write that right in the bio, and you can see that is a perfect example of it. This is not one of our accounts. This is, completely unaffiliated accounts. We don't know him. But you can see right there, billionaireliving@outlook.com is his email. We would write down the Billionaires blog is the name. The niche would be luxury. And let's see. He does not have a link in his bio. Go down. He has, we already determined 31.6 thousand followers. And then his average, 550, 580, 656, 528, 473. Around 500.
Yeah.
500 likes or so. And then if you look at the comments, 47, 52, 36, 38. He has about 50 comments. However, now, if you remember on our last page, it had way less comments than that, but way more following. So you might be thinking, how is he getting 50 comments per post with only 500 likes? His following is 1/6 of the size almost of the last account, and he's getting way better engagement in the comments. How is he doing that? Well, let's go and look at one of his pictures. He is clearly in engagement groups. Why? Once again, you can see here on the screen, 231,000, 1,145, 48,000, 92,000, 56,000, 105,000. You think that those people all just happened to comment on that post randomly? Of course not. That is the power of engagement groups, and that is what really drives up your engagement and makes you look really credible. It helps you drive yourself up in the Instagram algorithm. It helps you get more exposure. That's the power of getting into engagement groups. So yes, he has 50 comments. How many of those are actually generic comments or real comments, not from engagement groups? 10, maybe, if that. He's in a lot of engagement groups, and it's really helping him boost and get more exposure. And for the person that doesn't know, the average follower, they like that. They say, wow, 50 comments on 500 likes. I think that's like, they think you're credible. They're going to want to follow you. You're going to get more exposure. So you can see power of engagement groups. And I wanted to give that example. I wanted to show you an account that is heavily in engagement groups that really utilizes them and the power of what those can really have. So as you can see, that's there. You're going to be writing down this data. That is how you determine who your competitors are, who your influencers are. Go through, use that referral button, and in the next video, we're going to be showing you the spreadsheet that we're using and the data that we've collected for Mr. High Class, who our competitors are, who our influencers are, and how we're using that to our advantage. But for now, apply this, start researching this, and start documenting it, and we're going to show you the spreadsheet in the next video.
Sounds good.